back to XLNC Shoutcasting. I'm Jake Kelton. I will be your host as we move into Group D. These games just get crazier and crazier as we see Poro Snacks taking on Risen Esports Tortugas. The Tortugas, if you will. And I'm excited to see this game, especially because Poro Snacks are currently 1-1 in the group stages, and the Tortugas, they're 2-0. They have yet to die. So we get our chance to see whether or not the Tortugas, who have already played against the side of Poro Snacks, if they're able to find a third game win in a row, or if Poro Snacks can give them their first defeat. As we look at these picks and bans in the pro draft stage so far, the Kaisa, the Draven, ban away. ADCs are just absolutely top priority these games. Between the first 3 games that we watched and this game, we're seeing how much these teams are reliant on these AD carries. And with that, the Tortugas actually grab their Twitch as the ADC at the very beginning. First pick, high priority, after all of these other ADCs were already banned away. Morgana, Tom Kench, Nautilus, all supports in their own right, though that Nautilus can be flexed a little bit, also banned away. So this game, just off of these picks and bans, you can see how much both these teams care about this bottom lane. And because of that, the Tortugas grab themselves their duo immediately. The Braum to pair up with the Twitch. Not the best. You think maybe a Lucian would be a little bit better, but because of some of those nerfs to the items, it's going to be a Twitch that they value more. Now, one of the great things about Twitch is that he has the capability of 5-man ultimates if the positioning is good with the spray and pray. Combine that with the CC that Braum brings. Oh, my heart be still. Those of you that have watched me cast before, and the very few that have seen me play before, know that I love Leona. She is my absolute favorite champion to play, and is my current ranked 1 trick, even though my ranking kind of sucks because I cast more than I play. That aside, Leona picked up by the side of Poro Snacks. You make me so darn happy. They grab the Ashe as well, again, focusing on this bottom lane. The double CC that lane brings out with the ultimate Eclipse out of Leona, as well as Ashe having her own with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They can layer that CC so nicely. Their engages are guaranteed to be good. Now, something to note, as I was saying earlier with the Braum and Twitch, he's going to have good AoE with the knock-up of that Glacial Fissure, and combine that with Hecarim's 5-man ultimates he can pull off with a huge amount of fear. There's some good potential for the Tortugas to find a good team fight, overall. Whereas on the side of Leona and the Ashe for the Poro Snacks, it's more about the pick. Now, you can team fight. Leona's pretty good about being a frontline tank, but her CC, generally speaking, is a bit more targeted. The likelihood of getting 3 or 4 people inside of that very small AoE of the ultimate for the stun. The slow, it's okay, but it's not that effective. The stun, not that likely. So it's more used to be able to start fights, to throw that out there and grab one person that your team can just burst down and then follow that up with the rest of the team fight. Ashe with some pretty good AoE once she pops both the volley as well as that Ranger's focus on a Runan's Hurricane. That's going to be crucial for Ashe to pick up this game. Before she gets a Runan's Hurricane, she's not doing enough damage for a full team fight. She's really only focused on one person at a time. So keep your eyes on her items, especially if she shuts down early and it takes her a while to truly come online. The Scion locked in for the side of the Tortugas, focusing on grabbing a tank for that top side. We still have yet to see who they decide to go into the mid lane with those bans, the Zoe, the Irelia, LeBlanc, and Ahri. All of those are pretty much mid lane champions, so Irelia can be flexed to the top side of the map. And so the Tortugas get their chance to counterpick this Lux, and both teams have put heavy pressure on these mid laners. The thing that I like about this is that both these teams seem to be having so much of the same idea. Ladies and oh, okay, I about freaked out that it was an AP Shyvana in the mid lane, but once again, Pro Draft is going to troll me, and it's actually going to be Orianna, which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's actually, thank you, Rain, for checking that out. It's actually points. There you go. Now you can see the command. So With that Orianna, again, you're focusing on the totality of a wombo combo team fight. Yeah, you can use it for picks, but when you pair it with the Twitch, when you pair it with the Scion charging into all these members, getting knock-up after knock-up, you got the shockwave to set them up. A 5-man is crucial for the side of Risen Esports, the Tortugas. Whereas for the 0G Gaming, Poro Snacks, they could look for the full-on fight. They could look for a pick. It's kind of up to them what they want to do as we are switching over to our picks and bans scene. We'll see all the same things come through, which means we'll have a little bit more time to discuss the team compositions. Now, Rainstar, I know you're trying to do a heist again, but there is, I believe, an 8-minute cooldown on that. So you're gonna have to give that a little bit of time. Once we get into game, maybe 3 or so minutes into the game, it should be back up and available for you to run that heist again, build up that XP, which allows you to just be that much smarter, build up your IQ as you're watching the stream. And once those bans come through, I don't really want to talk so much about the bans besides, again, putting pressure on the fact that with the Kai'Sa, Draven, Jinx, and the Tahm Kench Morgana Nautilus all banned away by both teams, there's so much focus in this bottom lane. So it's going to be important to see how the bottom lane and then the last picking of these mid laners, the mid laners do. Those are the matchups that are really going to matter this game because both teams put so much pressure on those matches. Now, the Rek'Sai was picked up by the side of Poro Snacks, so pretty strong in her own right, still considered a pretty good early game to mid game jungle champion. Late game, not as much. She just doesn't have the base stats to actually survive in a bigger fight as a full-on tank, or doesn't do enough damage to be a full-on damage dealer. You're kind of stuck in this weird in-between, but in the early game, it's great to have. The flash knock-up from the Unburrow, so good at setting up teammates, and again, pairing with the Ashe or Liliana, or hey, maybe even that Lux light binding in the mid lane could be incredible for the side of Poro Snacks if they were looking for those ganks in the early game. Level 6 going to be nice, but not as critical as the Hecarim for the side of the Tortugas. Level 6 is absolutely crucial. Needs to have it to be able to dive into the enemy team, find himself the positioning. He can charge into a fight, but it's not going to be as good if he doesn't have that ultimate, because he doesn't have the guaranteed CC, and he tends to have that mispositioning if he's going a bit too fast, speeding his way into a team fight, charging in it onto someone. He can find himself easily underneath a turret, whereas when you've got that ultimate, if you misposition, you can just ult to a different location to reposition, as well as initiate those fights much better. So we'll see if that's what actually happens for Savado, as there is, I to say, don't you lock in that Zed. We're going to have to pro draft all over again. No, the Orianna gets locked in. So Orianna against Lux, it's, I would say, a bit favored to the Lux, considering that her ability to kind of play around the abilities. Well, to be fair, Orianna doesn't have to worry about the minions. So she can use that command attack to kind of harass from a distance, get a little bit of damage just layered in, as well as has that stacking auto attack. But her auto attack is much shorter range than Lux and doesn't have as good wave clear as Lux. Lux's E going to be able to burst those minions a lot faster, and Lux also has her own auto attacks passive that she can use to chunk a little bit of Orianna's health down. So I expect some skirmishing between these two mid laners, but it's not until level 6 that you're really looking for a crazy all-in fight, especially out of that Lux. That final spark, so nice. You wait for Orianna's shield to finally drop off, then you drop the final spark. Also, the barrier coming out of Lux, knowing that there's probably going to be some fighting going on, especially the potential ganking out of that Hecarim. Let's go ahead and take that barrier, keep ourselves on that safe side. For Orianna, running the TP to make sure that, again, if there's a fight, Orianna wants to be there. If there's a fight, Scion wants to be there. And Twitch being locked in, that is an interesting name that I will probably limit just a little bit when casting. We try to keep the stream on the PG side of things, so Did they translate the Pro Draft picks and bans here? Right? Indeed, Frico. That is exactly what they do. Pro Draft is simply a way for people to pick the exact champions they want, whereas if you're only doing the true League of Legends client picks and bans, you don't get as many options to flex champions around. And by that, I don't mean flex picks. I mean top laners grabbing Leona for the bottom lane, in the early game. As we saw, if JUTK didn't have Rek'sai, which was the first pick for the side of Poro Snacks, he wouldn't be able to trade it over. He'd have to pick something else, and that could give Rek'sai to the side of the Tortugas. So people pro draft to give themselves that bit of an edge in saying, you know what, we don't have to worry about people's champion pools, especially that top laner who could be the most critical in grabbing ourselves one of the strongest champions in the game. We don't have to worry about people's champion pools. We can just grab whatever champion we want, and then during picks and bans, they just grab the champion they've already selected from that pro draft. Thank you so much, Rico, for that follow. Dr. Shocker, thank you as well for letting in, giving that extra information. So with that being said, let's run through the champions and their players for this Group D Game 1, but our group game number 4. For the side of Poro Snacks, we have ourselves JUTK with the Gangplank for the top side. Hey, man, with the Rek'Sai in the jungle. Twigsy. Oh, I like that twist. Twigsy with the Lux in the mid lane. Akasha 75 on the Ashe 80 carry, and Bada Mana with the Leona support, which is definitely one of my favorite champions. We'll talk about that more later. For the side of the Tortugas, we got Taiho with the Scion in the top lane, Savado taking the Hecarim into the jungle, Grey Anatomy on the Orianna in the mid lane, Pants, I'm just going to call him Pants, with the Twitch in the 80 carry role. And last but definitely not least, Raleigh 258 on the Braum support. It's the first time we've seen these players. They've already played some games today, though. And the side of the Tortugas, that's why it's only a simple T. I might actually add a second T in there to make it a little bit easier for you guys to know what is actually going on there. The Tortugas, 2-0. Definitely strong. Probably based around this bottom lane, Twitch and Braum. First lock in the beginning of the game. They said, you know what, we need to get ourselves a strong bottom lane. And one of the nice things about that Twitch and Braum combo is that post level 6, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a kill. With the Braum Glacial Fissure, Twitch Spray and Pray, you're going to be stacking so much damage, and they're CC'd long enough for the Braum passive of the Frostbite to come down, get the stun, because it will be procced by Twitch's auto attacks with the Spray and Pray. And then on top of that, the members of Poro Snacks, at least most of them, are not exactly the highest mobility. Look at the Leona, look at the Ashe. These aren't your super flashy plays in the bottom lane. These aren't your high escape mechanic champions. Leona is a go in or tank, or both. Ashe is a attack and kill or die. She doesn't have that much escape. Lux as well. You gotta land that light binding, otherwise she could just be chased down. She doesn't have that much health. Whereas Orianna, she's got a speed boost. Twitch has his invisibility. Braum has his stand behind me. All of them have some movement or dash or invisibility capability to get out of fights. So what I'm seeing at the moment is I think the Tortugas won a little bit in the draft phase. I'm only worried so much for the Scion on that top side. Sure, he's a great tank, but Gangplank is scary. Gangplank late game damage is nuts. Those barrels just absolutely insane damage. But on top of that, he doesn't have to play super aggressive in the early game. He can simply sit there, focus on farming, probably running the Kleptomancy, trying to stack up as much gold as possible to be able to just lead his team later on. He doesn't have to be with his team either because he's got that ultimate, being able to rain that damage down on a different lane, and you still have that Leona tank to be that front line. Rek'Sai as well to kind of roam very quickly between those different lanes. So we'll check in with that top lane, but I'm expecting it to be a little bit of a farm snooze fest unless one of the junglers ganks. Now, I really want to see Rek'Sai in this mid lane get Lux popping. Even though I did just say that Orianna has a bit more escape than the Lux does, which she does, but she doesn't have that much escape. You go to the mid lane, you burn the flash, she's gonna have to be using her mana with that orb for the command protect, not as good. Yes, exactly, Frico. The Rek'Sai also has the Void Rush to be able to get either to a lane or to wherever the team fight is breaking out, which of course you need to rely heavily on those tunnels to make sure that you can actually keep up with that movement of the Void Rush. So, with that Orianna in the mid lane, if you get Lux ahead, she can do a surprising amount of damage, especially as the game scales, and she's got that massive damage ultimate, the final spark that can just burn people down. And when you have squishier members like the Twitch, like the Orianna, or even a highly mobile Hecarim that's trying to run away, you can finish them off with a well-placed final spark. And the key on them as well is vision, because when you're looking at this Twitch, when you're looking at the Hecarim, they're all about positioning for these team fights. They're all about making sure that when a fight goes badly, the Twitch can go invisible and sneak away. Hecarim can just speed off. However, when you've got those long-range pick potentials out of the Ashe, out of the Lux, even the Rek'Sai's ultimate, you have to see the enemy team to know where they're going. So getting those wards down, getting the control wards, making sure that you can secure whatever side of the map it is that you're wanting to fight on, both for the early fight and for the later stages of the fight if people are trying to be a little bit on the sneaky side and run away. So we are getting into game. This is game number 4 on the stream, but also game number 4 for Group D. We've got ourselves Poro Snacks on one side and the Tortugas on the other side. If you're here watching the stream to support one of these teams, feel free to drop that hashtag PS or hashtag TT in the Twitch chat to let us know that you are here to support said team. As Sengai ZGG talking about the side of Poro Snacks, saying they usually play around the top side. So we'll have to keep our eye on how they do around this gangplank, and again, where the pressure is coming from this Rek'Sai as we load into game. Now, Braum, one of those champions that can spell a bit of an invade for the side that wants to take him, considering that he has those passive stacking Winter's Bite passive that can build up over time. Excuse me, it's Concussive Blows passive. The Q is his Winter Spike. I am a play-by-play caster, and sometimes I get those a little mixed up. So, the Concussive Blows passive stacking out of the Braum. Gonna be pretty powerful for an invade. However, we're not gonna see it this game, mostly because Leona is there on the enemy team, the side of Poro Snacks. They've got Leona, she's got her Q, which is basically just a free stun. So if there's an invade, they can have their own quick CC, which is actually a lot faster than the Braum. Now, talking about this Leona, as I said earlier, one of the reasons why you don't see it in a lot of games, especially in competitive play, is the fact that she's kind of a One Direction champion, right? If you like One Direction, great. If you don't worry. This is what Leona does. She only really goes forward. It's very hard for her to escape if something goes south, especially with that Zenith Blade. She's going to be diving into the enemy team. The enemy, or her own team, could just leave her out to dry, and she gets killed off very quickly. She's a massive tank, so going to absorb a lot of pressure. However, it might not just be enough, especially if it's towards that early side of the game and she doesn't have her items. Definitely wants to finish off the support item and at least one more before truly coming online as a tank. And with the buffs to her E, very strong, but, or sorry, not her E, her W, very strong, but, excuse me, can still be dropped if she doesn't have that W active when she's taking a lot of damage. I do like Ashe in that bottom lane, was able to volley those minions. There was a potential pressure lead for the side of the Tortugas bottom lane, considering that Hecarim started on the red side of the map, and so you had a lead by the Tortugas in that lane. However, Ashe's volley, just perfectly placed, picks up those 3 minions and stays even in this bottom lane. I'm actually even going to get level 2 on the earlier side compared to the Tortugas. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see a Leona level 2. One of those level 2 power spikes that sometimes you see is she hits level 2, she can immediately go in with the Zenith Blade and stun, while the enemy team is only going to be that level 1. Braum really should only have his Winter's Bite, and Twitch probably only has his Expunge to fight in the lane. And if you have that advantage, if they're focused on attacking you because you went in, they're not killing minions, so it's going to take them a little bit to get that level 2. You do have to play around it though, because if they get their level 2, they could heal, and that could be a turnaround in that fight. Either way, I'm talking about something that we didn't see as those level 2s have continued. Maybe we'll see that at that level 3 mark. In the mid lane, Orianna having some pretty good pressure onto the Lux, keeping her down a little bit as there's about that 6 CS lead there. Rek'Sai maybe coming in for a Vizig. There it is, the knock up from the Unburrow, forces out the flash. That's the pressure we wanted to see from A-Man in the side of Poro Snacks. heading into that mid lane, forces the flash on the Orianna, so she's going to have to play defensively. She's burned all of her potions as well to heal back up. And I kind of like Twigsy running the minion dematerializer, so can definitely push that mid lane down, guarantee those cannon minions. That'd be pretty nice. Ziggs was a little bit forward position. I won't say out of position, but just forward position, trying to get some auto attacks down for that expunge. But the turn from the side of Poro Snacks didn't work out so well. I'm not liking this as much now. Hold on, we got to fight in the mid lane. The flash for flash forced out as it's Lux's turn to have her flash forced out. Rek'sai still going to go in, though, onto the Orianna. I don't know if he can find the kill. He's got the red buff. He's going to wait. Oh, burn his own flash to escape the Hecarim, but he's chasing in onto Twigsy. He's got the charge, but a nice knockup from Rek'sai is going to slow that down. The binding comes out from Lux as well. No way. Poro Snacks get away with not quite murder, but all escape. That knockup from the Rek'sai was absolutely crucial in keeping that Hecarim off of Lux. Could it have been first blood right there, but it will be delayed at least for a little bit longer. Bailey, welcome. Love the name. Glad to have you joining in. This is the Amateur Invitational Tournament. Going on right now is the group stage. The stun stacked up on Leona. She's going to find a nice stun onto Braum, but his Unbreakable just absorbing all of the Ranger's focus out of the Ashe. He gets away about half health. I want to see Mana in this bottom lane on Leona be far more aggressive. Please be far more aggressive. Leona, she is not punished for those Zenith Blades. It's a short cooldown. It's not that much mana. Your Q comes back up very quickly. You can repeat that over and over. I use it as a harass thing. When I know that I can go in, just get a little bit of damage onto the Twitch and then back away. Braum, unless you're hit by those concussive blows passive, you're really not going to have that much to worry about with him. And usually if you stun up the Twitch and back away, Braum can only land 1 or 2 auto attacks. Not going to do that much. And Twitch also, as soon as he gets stunned up, generally speaking, starts to back up a little bit, isn't going to be trying to dive forward onto Leona. However, playing very passive in this bottom lane. The flash forward from Gangplank. Ooh, oh, no way! The corruption on his E, I believe that is a, I forget the name of that ability, but either way, the bleed stack, if you will, takes down the Scion on the top side, giving first blood to Poro Snacks. And now you can see why in the chat somebody mentioned that the side of Poro Snacks play through top lane. They're doing a fantastic job. And him, well, solo in that top lane. In the bottom lane, though, Hecarim coming in. He's going to get the charge onto Leona. She already burned her flash earlier, and that is a well-timed attack. However, the heal from Leona might keep her alive. The Ignite ticking away, and it does go down. Raleigh gets it, trading kills from the top lane 1-to-1. Unfortunately, it is on the support, but they'll be happy they at least got a little bit of gold back, and the pressure from the side of Tortugas can continue to mount up. They could freeze the lane here, at least for a short period of time, as the Hecarim was going into his own jungle. Orianna joining him in case Lux was going to try anything spicy. But again, Savado still full health on this Hecarim. Not too concerned about it. I'm going to kill up the Scuttle Crab, secure some vision around the Wind Drake to start the game off. Not the most exciting Drake. Again, we haven't exactly seen the craziest Drakes. It's not been any Infernals or Mountains to start these games off with. But, you know, it's still nice to at least see a Drake, especially a Wind Drake, paired with that Hecarim is going to make his ganks that much stronger. So, it was the passive, can be from over time or when refreshing, destroying a barrel. Oh, true damage burn? Ah, all right. Well, thank you so much for that. I have not played Gangplank in a eon. It's probably been at least a year since I played Gangplank, and those change things around a little bit. Rek'sai coming to the mid lane. There's no flash on the Orianna yet. She shields up, but there's the pairing. Perfectly timed. Rek'sai and Leona gank, though Leona didn't even get anything there. Just came mid to say goodbye to the Orianna before heading back towards that bottom side. Rek'sai, again, keeping up this pressure, giving a kill over to the Lux. A great start to the game for them. And again, once Lux gets online, her ability to clear waves and roam and find something else for her team with those light bindings just becomes that much more important. If she wants to, and the later stages of the game, she'll be using that final spark to clear waves because it's just so easy with that short cooldown and doesn't cost you that much mana. So again, small advantage to the side of Poro Snacks, but gold-wise, things still close to even, mostly because Orianna is 20 CS over this Lux. Hey man, looking to maybe going down on this top side. He didn't find the knockup with the Unburrow. Gangplank's gonna get the slow, so Rek'sai will finally land it. The Scion dropping low. The damage is insane! Triho goes down another time on that top side. Sion having a bit of a struggle this game. He's up about 10 CS over the Gangplank, who can catch back up, as he's going to be able to catch 2 full waves with that. However, and Sion eventually will scale. He just passively, on his E, getting that extra health when minions die around him, he will eventually become a pretty strong tank. But the longer that you can delay that, the more opportunity you give to this Gangplank to take over the game. And now with all 3 laners, the Gangplank, the Rek'sai, the Lux, being able to pick up kills of their own, things are looking good, but that means that it's time for the Tortugas to find a gank on the bottom side. Hecarim charge gonna come in, set up well by the Glacial Fissure from Braum. He's got the concussive blow stacks on Leona, and it's a kill for the jungle and the ADC. Twitch finally getting his first of the game, and great timing by the side of Hecarim, again, punishing and focusing on this bottom lane. He says, I see you, Rek'sai, on that top side of the map, and I raise you 2 kills on the bottom side, which over time, if you got some quick maths, you know that 2 kills is better than 1, will give the side of Tortugas a little bit of an advantage. Why not Tiamat or anything helps his HP? Oh, Doc Shocker and Freako doing a lot of discussion in the chat. I love it. Talking about all those sorts of things as the GP ultimate going to be called to the bottom lane. Ash Crystal Arrow going to stun up Braum, so he's definitely going to be going down. I'm not sure about the TP call from the Gangplank. A little bit on the early side, not really going to get anything. Could try to just shove in and get some plates on the turret or focus on the Windrake, taking it away from the Hecarim. And that may be what they actually do. So they're sacrificing this top lane, a couple of plates to the Sion, who is definitely going to get a lot of gold off of that. But they're doing that for the Windrake. Hecarim going to be headed towards that top side. Might go for the plates, might go for the Scuttle. That's what he started, at least the Scuttle. And could turn onto the Rift Herald as well, try to trade those neutral objectives. Orion's going to come up. And there it is. So the Windrake, this is that, you know, kind of, if you will, punish by each team. So the play from the Rek'sai on the top side means Hecarim is playing in the bottom side. Hecarim getting a double kill on the bottom side means that Poro Snacks is going to try to make a play on that bottom with them having over pushed. They get themselves a Windrake. But now the Tortuga is going to be starting up the Rift Herald. They force the flash out of the Lux, who's coming up, trying to defend. She still got the barrier. Rek'sai going to get the knock of the Sion charge. Going to come in, find a lot of CC onto Lux. The barrier not able to keep her alive. Rek'sai trades, though, with the Hecarim, but still has to run away. And Orianna is just walking this down. The heal, smite heal from Rek'sai, just to delay a little bit long before finally going down. Ultimate called from Leona onto Braum in the bottom lane. Rowley, that was interesting choice because the Unbreakable basically blocked all of Leona's damage, and Twitch can spray and pray the Leona down. Pants doing a fantastic job there, hiding behind that Braum shield. Gets himself a second kill. He's already completed the Blade of the Ruined King, and will be doing quite well as Ashe is still sitting on just that Cutlass. She's got to defend this bottom lane turret, but down 20 CS. Things are starting to look a little bit out of hand for the side of the Tortugas. I will say, though, Twigsy, on the roam around the Rift Herald may have led to 2-for-1 kill trade in favor of the Tortugas, but they stopped the Rift Herald from being taken. So, not quite advantage, but, you know, it's still nice to do. As Jo going to be ulted by the Hecarim on the top side. Gangplank just trying to heal, get himself out, and he will. Looked like a pretty scary situation. He does heal up from, and now the Rek'sai coming to the bottom lane. See if he can finally make a play on these two members. Only gets one knock up onto the Braum, whose Glacial Fissure's dropping Ashe low. Forces the flash, the expunge from the Twitch. Not enough to take the Ashe down. She barely lives. Twitch falls, and now Leona with the Great Zenith Blade can re-engage onto the Braum. Raleigh picked off bit by bit, and eventually falls to the Rek'sai. A-Man getting his 4th kill of the game. Highly mobile all over this map, trying to match the Hecarim, and so far doing an excellent job, except that he's taken away all these kills. So Ashe still sitting 0-1, has to walk out of the base with just that Cutlass and a couple extra items. Is just feels bad for the ADC of Poro Snacks. As Hecarim, though, seeing the Rek'sai in the bottom lane, going to be stealing away a bit of the enemy team's jungle. Alright, so the Sion has been able to pick up that Balmy Cinder, a little bit for the wave clear, and a little bit just for this tank stats, the extra health that comes in. Orianna finishing off her Luden's Echo in the mid lane compared to the Lux, who's just still sitting on a couple of items. Not that great, especially considering that Orianna continues to hold a 20 CS lead over the Lux. I want to see what Lux is sitting on. Yeah, only about 800 gold at this point. Don't think that's enough to actually grab herself an item. Probably looking for the Ludens to start the game as well. Sacrifice a bit of the CS for the double Doran's Ring build. Enchant Crystal Arrow used to stun up the Twitch for the moment. Zenith Blade, Chain CC, and again, the gank is good. Rek'sai stealing the kill away, but Twitch goes down, dropping that hyper carry, and that is the pick from the side of Poro Snacks. They're not looking for big 5v5 fights. They're looking for just one at a time. I kill you here, I kill you there, and eventually I'll kill you everywhere. Hey man, trying to steal away the blue buff, especially keeping out of the hands of Orianna is critical. Nana coming up as well to defend, keeping that blue buff from going down, but Brahm's going to be here, throws out that Q, might stun up Leona, they're going to go in. It's the final spark from Lux, who is not stopped by the Unbreakable from the Braum, so he will drop in the top lane. Sion ult cold, and Jo forced to flash away, so flash is burned from the bottom and the top side. However, nice engagement from the side of Poro Snacks in the bottom lane, especially because even with the Unbreakable wall that Braum has that may stop a lot of Ashe's attacks, it doesn't matter to the final spark of Lux, who finds that, and now Gangplank tanks up the turret, throws out another Q, the true shot, or the true damage on his passive, not enough to take Sion down, so Taiho gets out for now, but hi-ho, back to the base he goes. Just not enough health to deal with this Gangplank. 92 CS to 87. He's keeping up a bit in farm, but the Gangplank definitely having an edge. 1, 0, and 2 his score line. Threw out that ultimate as well to the bottom side. No, I think it was actually to fight the side on the top side. Here comes Hecarim, though. Ooh, yeah, Which wins? A single bullet or a charging horse? Yeah, horse won there, in that particular situation. Goodbye, Gangplank, going down. That's given a little bit of shutdown gold over to the Hecarim, I believe it was shut. No, but not quite shut down. All right. It wasn't quite that far ahead. Need to be pretty good CS lead to be ahead. It's not a CS lead. Well, it is. It's the 30 CS lead on the Rek'sai, but it's also a kill lead, 6, 1, and 2. So it has a 400 gold bounty sitting on their head at the moment. The Infernal Drake, the target for the Tortugas. They might actually get this unless Lux's final spark can steal it away. It throws out. No! The smite from Hecarim is good. Leona calls the ultimate as well, just a bit too late. Yeah, if you had timed the Leona ultimate a bit earlier, could have stunned up the Hecarim, followed that up with the final spark from Lux, you might have found yourself a kill on the Infernal Drake, but either way, they will lose it, but they're still going to be fighting on that bottom side. Rek'sai already using the tunnel a little bit early, can't get under the wall, and Hecarim's going to come around from behind, see if he can set up the play. Brahm's got the Glacial Fissure, so he could go for this fight. Lux going to be joining up as well, though. So they're just fighting for vision at the moment. They see basically all the other members that are fighting around that bottom side, and everyone decides, you know what, let's just go back to farming, playing a bit on the safer side, even though the farming over time is actually slightly in the favor of the Tortugas. They've got 131 CS on the Twitch to the 109 by Ashe, 136 on the Orianna to the 104 by Lux. So things are going a little bit in the favor of the Tortugas just in the laning phase alone. Now, the plates have gone down about 2 minutes ago, so we still have, all of our turrets up and available as Gangplank ganked on that top side. Just edges out being knocked up, but still gets slowed. Can he escape? He cannot. Sion ultimate used to make sure that he goes down as Savado is the one who secures the kill. They've got themselves that Gangplank twice now. And again, they're trying to put that pressure onto the side of Poro Snacks, where Gangplank kind of was solo winning that top side. Hecarim's being called again and again up there. And Rek'sai, while he's hung around this bottom lane quite a bit, there's no Drake available for them to try to take, and the last gank didn't work out so well. So Leona going to be coming around into the enemy team jungle. There's the TP, though, from the Orianna coming to this bottom side. Rek'sai going and looking for the Twitch. The spray and pray is called out, though, and there is a small zone for Poro Snacks to try to escape from. Orianna throws out the ultimate, the shockwave onto 2 members. Ashe is still freely hitting, and Rek'sai is able to take down 1 member. It's actually Gangplank, I think, that steals it away on the Orianna as Twigsy falls to the Hecarim, who just chased him down. A great Unbreakable keeps Raleigh alive for the moment. Ashe already burned basically everything besides Flash, and that will be in the end a 1-4-3 in favor of the Tortugas, and you can see why they are currently 3-0. Some of these team fights, they're able just to find these edges. You saw in that Tri-Brush, Leona a little bit overextended, was looking for something, maybe that Twitch to come walking through, couldn't find it, and then on top of that, you have the Rek'sai and the Ashe. Ashe over a wall, sure, that's safe, but you can't help your teammates out. Couldn't use the heal to try to keep them alive. The fight kind of running around the side as Orianna comes in. Again, AoE favors the Tortugas, and they find themselves a bunch of kills from that. The Twitch has finished off the Blade of the Ruined King, but doesn't have his Runan's Hurricane or his second item yet. He's actually went and built that Quicksilver Sash to try to deal with the Orianna, or sorry, the Leona, excuse me, as she's gonna find a nice Zenith Blade. Seeing the sign for the moment. He's pretty tanky though. Can Taiho escape from this? He doesn't have the flash, and so he charges in only to his own death, trying to maybe take down the Ashe, forces the flash, so he gets a little bit back. But again, another kill onto this Rek'sai, and Sion is sent back to the gray screen of the base. In the meantime, though, with all those members on the bottom side, the Rift Herald has been started up by the Tortugas. And it does get completed at the moment, so Hecarim's going to grab it. However, multiple members of Poro Snaccs harassing them down. But with the Rift Herald falling, they back away, not willing to actually fight in a full team fight. Especially with, again, that ultimate still available on the Twitch. Oh, hold on. Raleigh finds himself in a little bit of trouble. He kind of got knocked over the wall into the enemy team, or into the enemy team who was sitting in the brush. Now the Hecarim, going to be considering charging and decides not to go all in just yet. Hey, Majin Marek. Otter's busy. He's at work. So I'm solo casting this one. That is quite alright, though. I had some duo casters at the beginning of the day, and I can solo cast the end of the night out. Want to check very quickly on what this next Drake is before we get to fighting around it. It's the Ocean Drake coming up here shortly. 11 kills to 11, about 1,000 gold lead for the side of Poro Snacks. Sorry, did I say 11,000 gold lead? It's 11 kills to 11, even in gold between these two teams. So it's still kind of anyone's game. But you got to be looking at the advantages that each team can generate. Again, from the side of Tortugas, they got that team fight. They still have the ultimate available on the Orianna. Great Anatomy doing an amazing job in that TP play on the bottom side with the Shockwave. For the side of Poro Snacks, you're looking for those picks. Leona's got her ult available. There's an Enchanted Crystal Arrow on the Ashe. Where are they going to call it? Is it this bottom side? The Scion charge gets him out. So obviously they were not targeting him. However, without taking out the enemy team jungle, it's dangerous to start up the Drake. And they have the Rift Herald on it. Or not the Rift Herald, just the Scuttle Crab on it. So they have vision. This is happening. Leona trying to shove Scion away. There is a Hecarim around the corner. He's going to become charging. And the ultimate from Leona is not going to be enough. And Chao Crystal lands on a Hecarim, but he smites the Ocean Drake away. He's going to be charging in. The Rek'sai goes down. Leona doesn't have flash available. She's got to fight it out from inside the pit. She eventually falls. Twitch picks that up. Hecarim did go down as he was tanking basically all the damage from the side of Poro Snacks. But again, a small advantage for the side of the Tortugas. That is just great from the Hecarim. This is twice now that he's been able to secure those Drakes with an excellent smite. And the Lux is just not working out so well. 2, 2, and 2. Well, even with Orianna and the kill. But you really want to have a Lux that can land those final sparks and actually either find kills or objectives with that. And again, they're coming out just a touch on the early side. Down 30 CS compared to the Orianna as well. So that is an entire item. The Ardent Sensors pick up by the Orianna. Maybe looking at using those shields to get Twitch to become just an absolute monster. Is fighting solo against... Whoa! The gangplank on the top side. Great Anatomy with an amazing solo. The Shockwave to pull him back in. Could not get himself out. Great stuff there out of Grey Anatomy. Especially being able to solo the top laner from Poro Snacks that they put so much on. There's a bit of a siege here from Poro Snacks in the mid lane. Maybe able to secure themselves this mid lane turret. But the Twitch is here. He's going to try to make a play with the spray and pray. That's going to be the Hecarim coming here from the side. He's been slow, but he's going to ult in. Two-man fear charges it down the Lux. He's rooted up with the smite for the finish. And Sion going to choo-choo. Charge to the turret. Rift Herald started up by the Hecarim, knowing Leona cannot stop this. She's hiding underneath that turret. And the push from the side of Tortugas is so good. Look at the synergy. All grouping here into the mid lane to join for this Rift Herald. This Shelly might be the best one we've seen all day. Getting a second charge off. Second turret is gone. And now they can turn onto an inhibitor turret if they want. There's only 3 members of Poro Snacks here to try to defend it. Rek'sai around the corner. Shelly's going to get the charge, then get cleared up. So huge gold swing for the Tortugas. About a 2,500 gold lead now. And they get to back and buy a bunch of shiny new items. 5, 2, and 7 on this Hecarim. It's still a 7-3-4 Rek'sai, who was pretty impactful so far this game, but really, this top and mid lane are struggling. Not out of the game just yet. Again, keep in mind, this scaling from the side of Poro Snacks is still incredibly strong. They still have that opportunity to get into the late stages of the game, give, 3 items onto this Ashe, and she can definitely deal damage in a fight, but at the moment, they're just struggling. They're not able to collapse around these objectives. They're not able to actually find the mechanical outplays in the fights alone to just straight up win. Checking in on the chat, seeing if there's anything amazing to talk about. You guys have been doing an excellent job discussing these compositions and not the composition, but the items that these different players are buying. You can see what was called earlier by Doc Shocker, the Jarm's Fist. Picked up so far by the Gangplank to make himself a little bit tankier. Hecarim looking for the charge onto the Rek'sai. He's got the ultimate available, hasn't used it just yet. Might instead focus on Leona, who's been slowed by the Braum. There's the ult from Leona, though. She's going to get feared backwards to the rest of the team. Lux ultimate down. Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Goodbye, Hecarim. And now the chase onto the Lux. The knockup as well from the Rek'sai. He's going to ult to make sure she goes down. The Lux is sealed away. Twitch shows up, though. Finishes off the Lux. However, the CC from Rek'sai might be able to take him down. He's untouchable, but Ashe finally going to get on him. Taking down Pants bit by bit. In the meantime, Gangplank to the back of the fight finds the Braum, and that is a near ace for the side of Poro Snacks. The Scion, the front line, the tank Taiho, not there to help his team out, and the rest of his teammates fall one by one in that fight. Besides the Braum, they're all squishy, but Ashe untouched, just so well peeled for by Poro Snacks. They're going to turn onto the second tier turret in the mid lane, dropping it low with just a little bit of siege, but Ashe is walking away. So obviously they're not targeting it just yet. Gangplank just farming up with that Kleptomancy. Continue to poke away on the Scion, who at this point with an item and a half, incredibly tanky. Has that Warden's Mail as well to deal with the Ashe, and that may be why she went to the top side to try to catch up a little bit in farm, because she knows she just wasn't going to do anything to this Scion. Normal and tactical inting. Well, you could say the same thing about a Leona. Leona's pretty much normal and tactical inting. Jumping into the enemy team, tanking up all of their spells and damage. Infernal Drake has been spawned. It would be the second Infernal of the game, especially if Tortuga is able to pick that up, add that bit of extra damage for the Orianna when she shockwaves. But again, they're kind of putting a lot onto this Twitch in the bottom lane. Pants 5, 3, and 6 at this point. Has a lot of damage. Going to turn onto the Infernal Drake. They're going to slowly poke it down. The Scion charge in the backline. Gangplank there to absorb it, though. He's going to take a little bit of damage. Use the E and tries to get out. Rek'sai stealing away the Infernal Drake. I didn't even see this as the fight on the top side going to continue. It is a 1-for-1 at this point, though. The Braum finally falls. GP picks it up, but the members of Poro Snacks are bleeding and dying, and they all are dropping so low. The heal from Gangplank as he's able to blast going over the wall, but the Hecarim continue to chase in on that bottom side. Not sure why the camera's not caring about it, though. There is still a turret for Jo to hide behind. The Hecarim might be joined by the Scion trying to dive underneath the turret. Savado, what are you doing? One more turret shot takes the Hecarim down, but it's a trade for the Gangplank. So they get a 1-for-1 on this bottom side. That the Infernal Drake was stolen by the Rek'sai. So secured by Poro Snacks, keeping themselves in this game by just a little bit. It's still 2,000 gold difference, Tortuga Twins up, but with the overall game state as it stands, most members finishing off a second item now, it's still pretty even. That Ashe, only with the Blade of the Rune King and Zeal, struggling this game. Twitch, an entire item up on her. And has that BF sword as well. This is just looking so rough. It's going to be all on the shoulders of the Leona and the Ashe to get this Twitch. They have to kill Twitch. Otherwise, the fight is just going to consistently go in Tortuga's favor. There's just nothing else on the matter. As the Braum caught out, pretty easy kill. You just layer some CC, add the final spark in from Lux. Don't worry, it'll be back up. It's already halfway finished on its cooldown train. You take the kills that you can get. Braum trying to get a little bit of vision into the around the Baron pit. Does get dropped down. Oh, so Twitch finishes off his third item. We got the Blade of the Ruined King, the Infinity Edge is that last one he just picked up, and the Runaan's Hurricane, plus that Quicksilver Sash to get out of harm's way if Leona tries to go in for that stun. Braum going full defensive route and trying to peel for this Twitch. Has that Knight's Vow. It won't help him out in this situation, as Braum is still coming back out from the base, having died earlier. Sion split pushing on the top side. 185 farm, but is finally behind the Gangplank. 210, basically, this Gangplank has. Sion ult is stopped up by Rek'sai, who's joined by the Ashe. There's that peel, a little bit of damage as well, trying to slow the Sion as he's charging over to the Blast Cone. Nobody popped the Blast Cone, but he's not going to get there in time. Leona coming in. Shockwave from Orianna from behind. I think that might have been a TP or something. It's a Sion passive. Going to start up and take down the Ashe as well. Double kill for the Rek'sai, but Twitch is on a rampage, taking out the Ashe. 1-for-2 trade, though, as Orianna fell. And in the end, a small lead for Poro Snacks overall. And with the enemy team mid laner and top laner gone, they could try to chase in. The jungler's not here, so they would be dangerous to start off the Baron. It would be a 50-50 smite fight. No, they're going to catch out Braum again. Oh, this is so bad. This might be the Tortugas. They were 2-0 before this game. They might find themselves 2-1 after it, though, as the Rek'sai, as well as the rest of the team, going to start up the Baron. The Hecarim, the one hope for Tortugas, is stealing this Baron away. Savado going to be coming around. Will he go in early, or will it be too late? Charges over the wall with the ultimate. Rek'sai secures the Baron. He's going to be falling. Almost takes down Gangplank, but it's not going to be enough. Ashe Arrow a little bit late to the party, but Baron secured and all 5 members of Poro Snacks. 2 kills up, 2,000 gold lead. As we're back into a bit of a reset phase, let's check in. It's another Infernal Drake. That's going to make things just continuing to get a little bit spicier for the side of Poro Snacks. And I think I am just going to sit down and hang out a little bit. This game is definitely an intense one, but I don't want to burn myself out just yet because we got 2 more games to follow up after this one. 25 kills to 23. A bit of a lead so far from Poro Snacks. But they need to keep this ability to catch people out up. Leona's been doing a fantastic job of starting off these fights with that ultimate, as well as Gangplank absorbing a lot of pressure. He's got his 4th item of the game. He's absolutely filthy rich at this point. 14,000 gold total, almost 15,000. He is matching the Twitch and ahead of the Twitch by about 1,000 gold. Sion, the desperation play coming out from the Tortugas. Gonna go in. They're focusing down the Gangplank. He heals, but he is still gone. Lux ult finishes off the Hecarim as he's trying to dive in. However, the fight is going the way of the Tortugas. The shield not gonna keep the Leona alive. Hold on, that wasn't GP, excuse me. That was the Ashe that died at the very beginning of that fight, followed up by the Leona as well. Hecarim did go down to that final spark out of the Lux. The Infernal Drake started up by Tortuga, but they still have to deal with the Rek'sai, who's charging and trying to heal up and take down Twitch, who got a little bit of a heal. The final spark again from the Lux, dropping him low. Gangplank chasing in, looking for the Orianna, finds the kill. He's got the heal. He's got the Sterix Gauge, but he still falls. And now Twixie, the only member left alive, throws down the barrier, looking for the Twitch, but he's repositioning. And while Lux finds Sion, will still go down an ace for Pants, as he is 12-4-9. Tortugas get the Infernal Drake as well, and the game continues this seesaw back and forth, fight after fight. But Tortugas evening things out at the moment. This Twitch, as the game continues to get later, is just going to decimate in these fights. It's going to be absolutely crucial from Poro Snacks to find him, as we talked about earlier. We've been mentioning this all game long. You have to kill the Twitch. If you can't kill the Twitch, it's just going to be over for you. Look at the farm as well on this Twitch. 229 farm. These continue to stack it up as I'm speaking about him. To the 180 by Ashe. He is so close to getting full build. Got that extra pickaxe. This is perfect for Tortugas if they can find the right fight. They need Twitch there, though. He's on that bottom side trying to get a little bit of a push going from those minions, as it's not been a very tower-heavy kill game. This is kind of one of those games that you kind of back and forth and features each other up a little bit until one team aces the enemy team and then walks it in for the finish. Because we are sitting at that 33-minute mark. If one team aces the other, those cooldowns on the death timers are just going to be incredibly long. I think they're pushing 35 to 40 minutes, or 40 seconds. Yeah, 40-minute cooldown. 40-second cooldown. That's definitely enough time to get an inhibitor and maybe the game. Hecarim backing, trying to finish off his next item. Gets a little bit more magic resist as well. He's got that Serix gauge, so he's going to get beefy for sure when he gets low. Trying to match the Gangplank potentially. Interesting choice though. Both these teams hovering around this bottom side. There's no Baron, no Drake available for either team to pick up, but this is giving Tortuga a bit of an edge, pushing down here towards that bottom side. Sion going to be backing his Gangplank, is trying to split push on the bottom side. I don't know if it's going to be a base race, but Sion could come up and ult in. The wave is here. Tortugas have found the positioning. They're going to be able to get themselves an inhibitor turret as the Gangplank, ooh, hold on, finds it in the bottom side, joined by the Rek'sai and Ashe. It's a base race, ladies and gentlemen, as Sion trying to tank it up. Inhibitor and inhibitor will both go down. However, the Ashe arrow is going to come in, stun up Braum for a moment being the tank, but it's 4 members pushing in from the side of Poro Snacks. They're going to be able to take everyone down on the top side. The blue side, they're able to take down the Sion. Can they take down the Nexus turrets? One Nexus turret down is on both sides. Everyone trying to tank up as there's no wave from each side coming in. The Nexus is going to fall. Are you kidding me? Poro Snacks, they found themselves the Nexus in the base race. And Tortugas, despite being able to start that fight, in the end, come out with a loss. As they had more people pushing, but they focused on the, I believe it was the Lux, I think, in the enemy team base. And man, what a finish to the game. I haven't seen a base race so long. Victory for the side of Poro Snacks. They will take down the undefeated so far Tortugas. Great stuff there. All right, so we are starting off our second phase of the the round robin, if you will, group stage on the side of Group D. This is Group D that we've just started, excuse me. And so let's talk about this. Let's break this down for just a little bit. We have a touch of time. Actually, the next game is about to start. Take just a minute to break this down. So, Jayu, on that top side, great push from the side of Poro Snacks. However, the problem was that he got shut down a bit on the early side, so it took him a while to truly come online. A-Man doing an amazing job with this Rek'Sai as well. Great tanking, great damage. You can look at the overall build. That Black Cleaver and Hydra focusing on those fights, focusing on that wave clear. 174 CS. I'm sure that Tiamat came in huge in that final push towards the base. And overall, good. Bottom lane from Poro Snacks, rough. 1-4 and 14, 1-7 and 16. You want this AD carry to do better. And maybe that's because of all the ADC bans, but it was definitely rough. On the side of Tortuga, they poured every single resource onto this Twitch. They added in the Ardent Sensor on the Orianna just to make things that much better for the Twitch. But in the end, it wasn't enough. And talk about that second thinking. If you're not team fighting if you're doing a base race for the side of Poro Snacks. They didn't want to worry about trying to fight the Twitch. They wanted to just win the game, and win the game they did. So, wait, hold on. I got the wrong graphics, don't I? I got the wrong graphics. Oh, let me switch that up. There we go. That's what we should be saying. A couple of you guys probably calling me out in chat for that. All right. But, so, success and victory for Poro Snacks. We'll be right back as the winners of this game are going to turn around and fight Uwu Crew in the following game. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.